What's going on, my fragrance family? Hope you guys doing great this morning. So I wrote down 10 fragrance tips that I want to share with you this morning. These fragrance tips, when you apply these to the wearing of your fragrance, then you get better performance from your fragrances. So the first one that I have here is to test your fragrance on your skin before committing to purchasing a bottle, because fragrance can smell different on different person. I might put on a fragrance and it smells different because my body chemistry is different. I give off a different odor than you, so always bear that in mind. Test your fragrance on your skin before you make a purchase. Unless you're blind buying a fragrance, which I hardly recommend, but sometimes we do blind buy fragrances. The next thing that you want to bear in mind is to apply your fragrances to your pulse point. I know a lot of people will tell you that when you apply fragrances to your pulse point, because of the heat, then the fragrance tend to evaporate. But sometimes it works best when you put the fragrances on your pulse point. For me, I put one behind each ears, two on my chest, or if I'm wearing a shirt, then I put it on the shirt, and one on the back of my neck. So that's how I do it. So you can follow that routine, because for me, I get better performance and better projection when I wear my fragrances like that. So number 2, apply your fragrances to your pulse point. That will help. Number 3 is always try to layer your fragrance. I try that all the time. I layer different fragrances, and by doing so you can create a long-lasting scent, because some fragrances, they work well with others. You might try a layering technique and it don't work, but that's okay. It's a learning process. So try layering your fragrances. That will help. Number 4, store your fragrance in a cool and dark place. I always say that. Store your fragrance in a cool and dark place, because if you store your fragrance in heat, then the humidity will cause the fragrance molecule to degrade. So you will lose the life of your fragrance if you store your fragrance in a hot and humid place. So always try to store your fragrance in a cool and dark place, and that will preserve the life of your fragrance. Number 5 is to know the fragrance concentration. Back when I was young, I used to believe that perfumes are for women and colognes are for men. But as time goes by and I get older, I got to understand that it has nothing to do with gender. Basically, what it has to do with is the amount of fragrance oil that is within a fragrance. For example, eau de cologne has less fragrance oil, eau de toilette has a little bit more, eau de parfum has a little bit more, parfum has a little bit more, and it goes up to extract the parfum. So that is one thing to bear in mind, even though sometimes it is not accurate, because I've seen fragrances where the eau de toilette is better than the eau de parfum in terms of projection and all those things. So that is one thing to consider, because most of the time it is correct on the books. Number 6 is to rotate your fragrance. This will prevent you from getting used to a scent. Now, have you ever wore a fragrance and you just can't smell the fragrance on you? But your friend will tell you that you smell really good, but you just can't smell it. So you have become nose blind to the scent, because you have wore that fragrance over and over and over again. So your nose, your olfactory scent gets so used to that scent. So you don't want to do that. What you want to do is to rotate your fragrance so that you don't become nose blind to the scent, and also it gives you a chance to enjoy different scent as well. Number 7, don't overspray. Don't overdo it, guys. Many a times you see people spraying fragrances and they're like all over. Don't do that, guys. Don't overspray. A little goes a long way. That is the reason why you want to know your fragrance. So when you know your fragrance, you know the amount of sprays that you need to spray. I always recommend 5 sprays. For me, that works, and I know it will work for you. 5 sprays. Number 8, consider the season and the occasion that you're going to wear your fragrance. Don't wear a sweet, seductive gourmand fragrance on a hot day when you're just going grocery shopping or you're just going for a walk in the park. You don't wear that. You wear a citrusy, clean scent on a hot day because it projects better and you basically smells better. You wear a sweet and sexy gourmand scent in the colder days. So always remember, know the season and the occasion that you're going to wear your fragrance, and in so doing you will get better performance from the fragrance. Number 9, experiment with different fragrance families. Now, Shemo, what do you mean experiment with different fragrance family? I didn't know that fragrance has families. Well, yes, they do. Fragrance do have families. Floral, woodsy, oriental, fresh, gourmand, and the list goes on. So you want to experiment with different fragrance families, and in so doing, you will find the family in the fragrance community that is best for you. You will realize that floral fragrances smells really good, works when they couple with the rose and jasmine. So it's a work in progress. So experiment with fragrance families and you will find a scent that you love, and that will enhance your fragrance experience. Number 10 is to try different fragrance application techniques. Now back to number 2, where I mentioned that you should spray fragrances on your pulse point. Number 10, you want to try different techniques so that you can find the best one that suits your need. So take these advice and believe me, you will get the best performances from your fragrance, and your fragrance will last you longer. And you will not offend the people around you by not overspraying. So that's my video for the morning. Peace out, guys. Have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon.